Boston College here. On tomorrow's show, I am going to get into the first day of camp. My writer, Mike Sidley, will be there. I can't make it to today's practice, but he's going to be there, and I'm going to be able to get some of the details of what happened. We'll talk about all the big stories that came out of that first day of practice, including what Bill O'Brien had to say. So make sure to check out Locked On Boston College on YouTube or where you get podcasts. But we're talking 8 wins today. The white whale of Boston College sports. When will BC football get there? The hope is this year. We already talked about a player on offense, a player on defense. What about special teams? And what about a freshman? Yeah, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say I'm putting some pressure on a true freshman and someone not even from this country. As a player, I think needs to have a big season to get you 8 wins, and that is Andy Quinn. Last year, punting was a complete disaster. Bill O'Brien is smart. He's a smart coach. And his teams, I think, are going to need a good special teams. Last year's special teams weren't good. They weren't good at all. Both kicking, punting, it's all been kind of a mess. Now you have his staff has done a nice job of going out and fixing a lot of that. You have the same kickers. You did not bring in any new kickers for this season. But the punting, having defenses on the other side of the field, pushing back opposing offenses is a nice luxury to have. And BC never did that. They were always starting, the 40, 30, 38-yard line. They were all, sometimes even like midfield. That's not good. You're basically giving away free points when you do that. This year, Sam Candotti's gone. Ivan Savanko's gone. You may go with Sam Stone, and please don't use Liam Connor again as a punter. He did fine. All the power to him. He was the best out of all of them, but he should be focusing on his kicking because that needs to be improved too. You have 2, Andy Quinn and Seamus Florio. It could be Seamus Florio. It really could. This is the transfer punter from Yale. I'm going to go with Andy Quinn. Seamus Florio has, if you look at the stats, he's a good positional punter, but he's not the biggest booming punter. I hope, and my hope when I get to practice is that when I watch Andy Quinn, this kid from Ireland, get up there, that those punts are banging off the ceiling of the fish house. If you didn't know this, the fish house is not high enough, and I'm sure most indoor facilities are like this, that when they punt it, many times when they really boom them, they're bouncing off the rafters. And so you don't really get to, until they get outside, you don't get to see how far some of these go. But I'm hoping with Andy Quinn, because one thing that you can really hope for, that could really, this piece that was missing last year is field position. Yes, you want to be able to march down the field, but sometimes when you're starting to try to find out what's, feeling them out, not getting things going right away, pinning them back over and over again will help you get out of those ruts. They will give you shorter fields to march. And I trust that Grayson James in that offense, Turbo Richards, all those guys, they're going to be able to get out of those ruts a lot faster if they can punt the ball. I can't underestimate. Undersell. And I'm speaking to the choir. You guys all saw it last year, just how bad BC punting was. They were dead last. I'm not just saying this as a hyperbole. And you guys are going, AJ, yeah, no kidding. They were dead last in the country. They averaged 36 yards a punt, which seems high compared to some of the things I saw. How many 25-yard punts did we watch? But they were 3 yards away, from the nearest Power 4 football team, which was UNC. That's how bad things were. You got to fix that. And that in itself will make your team that much better. So I look at this at Andy Quinn, and I hate putting pressure on a freshman. It's gonna be either him or the transfer, but I'm gonna talk about Quinn for this one. If he has a big year, it's gonna make the road to 8 wins that much easier. I'm gonna say Andy Quinn needs to have a big year, and I can't wait to see how he looks to start off camp, which I have to say is a little bit deceiving because when I watch at camp sometimes, The last, I keep saying it. Last year, the punters, when I watched spring and summer camp, they looked fine. When you watch them in the game, they were a disaster. So hopefully things have changed. All right, thank you all. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about camp.